got the whole damn verse spinning around you with open arms. It's a race against time that plunges you deep into the black. What are you gonna do when the void stares back? You'll never stop the revolution. Time to begin your evolution. Take a leap of faith. You gotta break the illusion. You gotta make your own solution. Take a leap of faith. The future's just a void, jump away.
Greetings, folks. Hello. Welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim. I use he, him pronouns. And this is our Dark Matter campaign, Ghosts of Saltmaw. I am playing Cole Hayden, Human Gunslinger. And let's go ahead and go around and say hi to everybody. I know it's been a little while, but let's see if we can get back up on the horse here. First, we will start with Anino. Hello.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and for this campaign, I play Rekmara, the Aviabra Druid.
Awesome. Now let us head over to Cazimi. Hello.
Hi, I'm Cazimi. I use she, her pronouns, and today I am playing Clangswell Nunu Fritz Hold Bottom Thunderstruck, the space gnome who uses they, them pronouns.
And now over to May. Hello.
Hi everybody, my name is May. I play Lasnish Chain Tower, the Star Dwarf Paladin. We both use she, her pronouns.
Awesome. And now over to Mem. Hello.
Hello, I'm Mem. I am playing Narita Gali, the Novelid Witch, and we both use she, her pronouns.
Very cool. And now let us go ahead and throw things over to our station master, Alyssa. Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining our first stream of the new year. My name is Alyssa. My pronouns are she, her, and I play everyone else. So with most games on this channel, we'll be using the safety tools such as X card, N card, and O card. If at any point during the game we stumble into territory that crosses a line for somebody and we don't want to have it in the game, they can just drop an X into my Zoom chat or make an X symbol. We'll stop, rewind, add a dash of retcon, and it never happened. If we're kind of towing that line and it's okay to have the subject in the game, but we don't want graphic descriptions, that's where the N comes into play. We'll pan to the fake fireplace, fade to black, and move on. And if at any point the roleplay is getting really intense and you want to just let everybody know you're okay to keep pouring on the drama, feel free to proactively type an O in the chat room. Or if you're in the middle of a scene and you want to check in with somebody to make sure you haven't gone too far, you can type an O with a question mark and we'll all respond accordingly and we'll go from there. So without any further ado, previously on Ghosts of Saltmaw, having been cured of her affliction with the Mi-5 virus, Narita stepped away for a moment of private reflection and recovery while the rest of the party made preparations for their next venture. As they made their way back to the ship, Rekmara realized that they were being followed by a human woman whom Lasnish identified as her friend Iris from the Spacers Guild. Iris informed the party that she had just returned from escorting Archdruid Sanav Patel to the menagerie and requested a word with Rekmara concerning the Circle of the Obelisk in private. When the party questioned her about her interest in the obelisk, Iris dropped the Alter Self spell she had been maintaining, revealing her true form to be that of a nautilid seeker. She stated that such spells allowed her to spend less time in an aqua suit, thereby freeing up the precious resource of Poseidon solution for those more desperately in need. She also told them that her interest in the obelisk stemmed from its ability to control evolution, believing it to be the key to ending her people's dependence on the solution that was so rare and difficult to procure. Rekmara agreed to exchange information with her on the condition that he gained the Archdruid's approval in person first. Cole and Lasness agreed to the change of plans, as did Fritz, who had overheard the entire conversation from the nearby maintenance shaft, and they all went about their respective preparations. Having managed to collect herself and her familiar, Narita returned to the ship, crossing paths with Fritz, who appeared to be returning from the gnomish quarter of the Spacers' barracks. Meanwhile, Cole made his way back to his own private quarters, spotting Fritz with a hover pallet full of supplies along the way. After a brief exchange of pleasantries and a few knowing looks, the two parted ways, with Fritz once again returning to the ship, and Cole continuing on to his apartment to go about the business of packing. That done, he called Lee over to let her know about the party's plans to return to Chiron and to inquire as to whether she might accompany them on the mission. During the conversation, Cole expressed concern for her safety and asked what she wanted out of life and their relationship. Lee expressed her appreciation for having someone to come home to and confide in after a long day of working to make Saltmaw a safer place, and the pair exchanged apartment keys, sharing an intimate embrace as the curtain fell. We rejoin our intrepid spacers as they jump to the menagerie a few days later, having arranged to meet up with Lee at Chiron after Rekmara has finished his business with the Archdruid. So, as you all come through the wormhole at the menagerie, and you lower your jump shields to get a good look around, I'd like you all to make perception checks.
Must I?
No, probably not. You're always looking everywhere. Somehow.
Active or passive? I'm assuming passive.
If you roll lower than your passive, just tell me you're passive.
$16.
Okay.
11.
Also 11. Not very perceptive here.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Okay.
You can see through time.
It's
Rick,
muttering about the spice.
I mean, my passive is 19.
I know. Fritz and Rekmara, you spot the figure floating outside of the vessel first.
Is it the
just
same
sort
figure?
of gliding along, coming through the wormhole with you, and sort of gliding along beside the ship like a porpoise, except it is not, in fact, a space dolphin, but a figure similar to what you have seen of the nautilids, with kind of a semi-translucent body with diaphanous fins and little tendrils swirling around her. Just a glimpse through the view screen.
Is this the same sort of glimpse thing that I got the last time I was at the menagerie when Narita thought she saw something and pointed it out and I caught a glimpse?
You get it's a little better, more distinctive view this time because you rolled so high. Those of you who rolled on the lower end, you maybe just catch the tail as she glides past, returning to the wormhole and vanishing.
Well, Space mermaids. What do they think of next?
Those are real? What's next? Space Yetis?
Apparently they are. Did you see that, Narita?
See what?
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Wait, which half was spacey and which half was mermaidy?
It was all spacey.
And all mermaid.
Oh, I'd like to have seen that.
You folks really need to learn how percentages work.
Narita is clearly not the sharpest of us all, so.
Well, remembering the distress that Narita was in the last time she thought she saw something that might have been this, Fritz is not going to say anything more about it because the last thing we need is for Narita to be more worked up than she usually is around here. So,
Which way was it going?
She just sort of glided past the window, like came out the wormhole with you, sailed past, turned around, and went back.
So does anyone answer me about that, or because I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'm guessing not. Okay. All right.
nope, no idea.
All right.
Most of them aren't sure, and Rekmara seems to keep his cards close to the vest.
Like, well, I mean, so long as it's not like coming or wheeling around to attack us or anything, I guess we're okay.
But how will we know if no one saw it?
I'm sure we'll feel something.
When the space mermaids attack.
Now, when Rekmara puts on his atmospheric bubble inside the ship, we know we're in trouble, right?
Usually a good indicator. So you're able to dock at the station without issue, and no further mermaid sightings.
I have a quick question that I realize I did not address last time, but
Yeah.
as you said that it's been a few days, I was wondering if we had the opportunity to do something about letting Wu examine Rhapsodos, or are they still freaking in our cargo hold right now?
That's up to the party, I suppose.
Because I know we just sort of jumped ahead. We didn't really deal with that.
Right.
I have no problem with them doing what they need to do in the cargo hold as long as they don't mind us jumping around the galaxy. So, kind of Dr. Wu's call as to whether or not they stay.
Okay, so we didn't bring them. We left Rhapsodos in the cargo hold, but Wu could have just come and gone if she'd wanted to. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to try to take Rhapsodos out of stasis in the cargo hold.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well, I didn't know if we. Well, I figured didn't we move them without taking them out of stasis before? When we put them in the cargo hold, weren't we able to?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, maybe this is something we need to check in on. My impression was that we didn't want to let Rhapsodos wander too far from.
I mean, that's fair. There's still a security issue here.
Yeah.
Even if they don't come out of
Right.
out of it, it's still them being seen is a problem.
It depends if you want to have left Rhapsodos in Max's quarters at the station, and let Max deal with that security issue, if you trust them, or if you would rather keep your friends close.
And your
And
enemies
your Rhapsodos
closer.
closer.
Yep. I think I would rather have Rhapsodos closer than not, just so that we don't have to go tearing back across half the galaxy to save Saltmaw from some ridiculous thing.
I mean, that's fair.
Because at least Lasness will remember some old stories, probably that 5-0 has related about the last time an unexpected creature came out of stasis when a life pod was rescued from somewhere out in the black.
Do you guys remember that movie Terrans? It was like that.
Nuke them from orbit, right? Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
production. The third one was done by Was Jedin.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me for a moment. I have to go find a sharp object. Plunge directly into my brain. I'm going to give myself a quick lobotomy. Hang on.
Actually, no. I think it's right about there.
Yeah.
This is like juggling space Fabergé eggs and laser chainsaws all at once.
Let's not.
Did Wu get what she needed, or is she in our cargo hold too right now?
No, she has taken some scans and she will be studying them at her office.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry to tangent. I just wanted to check that off my
They're useful to know whether or not we've got a Wu in the cargo hold. You're right.
Yeah. Assume we've got them like hidden under something, or we've got the Roth hidden under or behind something right now. Like there's a big tarp thrown over them or something.
Pay no attention to the Roth behind the curtain. Yeah.
Hopefully, we're not using them as a hat rack right now or whatever.
All right. So we have a Roth. We know where it is. We don't have a space mermaid. We don't know where she is. And we're at the menagerie, right?
Yeah.
I think things are going really well.
Fritz is probably just going to hang out shipboard while everybody else heads down to, or anybody else who's going to head down to the menagerie. Yeah, will do so, but Fritz is doing the usual Fritz things.
Yeah, I'll go ashore.
All right.
I want to see the animals and everything else.
Narita's ready for some matchmaking.
Okay.
Oh god, that's right. There's we left that thread dangling there, isn't there? There's someone here that has to be
These tiny things that don't matter. I'll remember that.
has to be match made.
All right. So most of the party boards the station, and you can make your way through the shops or the alien habitats. You can visit your friend the Arachno Horse, who believes this station is also haunted.
Fair.
Every place with people in it is haunted by someone.
This being a halfling station, there are a lot of restaurants and pubs and taverns with names like Chalice in Wonderland, which is a diner that serves a full hero's feast. Or the Absinthe-Minded Professor, which is an upscale bar.
Oh.
I think Rukmara's going to head for the Grove first. He isn't really going to care who accompanies him. He's just going to go.
Okay.
I'm following him because I am paranoid.
Okay.
Narita peels off from her matchmaking mission to follow. She's just curious.
All right.
And not very sneaky about it either. Like there's no sneaking happen.
Lasness, are you going to tag along, or do you have things that you would like to see?
Well, there is this restaurant called Passe de Pâté de Choux, which is just a pastry that everybody dances on point to give to you. It's not really about the pastries, it's about the dancing, really. But it might be more important to put business before pleasure first. And I don't think they're open on this day anyway. So I think I'm going to follow...
I didn't realize they
I
had
think
that
I'll
kind
just
of
follow
business
Cole.
here. That's not very family. Oh, pastries. Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
I would think pasties are very family friendly.
Yeah. Haven't you ever had a pasty?
Well, in terms of cause and effect, perhaps. I don't know. So.
Lastness goes with her usual rule, which is follow the tallest. And since the two tallest are walking that way, she's going to go that way.
Okay. So everyone follows Rekmara to the Druid Grove.
She is not bothering with stealth. She's just going with the tallest.
You must be this tall.
You'd have to be very, very stealthy to to sneak up behind Rekmara.
Narita has not a chance. Not a chance. Just lumbering behind.
So Rekmara is actually going to check the druid symbols first.
Okay.
Just to see whether or not people have continued to vandalize this place.
You check the spot where you left your last message, and you see a small amoeboid who you will recognize as Little Enya, has sort of standing on a little crate and is like scrubbing the wall.
Ah, okay. I guess that'll do.
So whether or not there was any new graffiti, someone has been put to work to clean it up.
All right. Anyways, he's going to continue wandering and look for the Archdruid.
Okay. You do find the Archdruid in the grove. There's a couple of thwirls that kind of just were gathered around the Archdruid, and they kind of scatter at the party's approach. Or you think they might be thwirls, you're not sure. Something is rustling the leaves anyway.
Narita goes over to one of the places where it's rustling and like pulls out some wires and is kind of like shaking it towards where maybe a thwirl is.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Is there anything I can do to rescue myself from this? Because it's not good.
Nothing really happens. You just don't see anything.
Okay, great.
Can Rekmara look around and see where it is? Where they are?
You can certainly try.
Natural 20.
17.
Yeah, you are able to spot them.
Rekmara's going to say, huh, you're at least 20 feet away from the nearest one.
Just looks at him. Turns back, starts shaking it some more.
Fine, don't believe me.
Something pings off your aqua suit. Then you see a little, like, berry go rolling across the ground.
She just stands up and mutters to herself, puts the wires away, like bastards.
Anyways, Rekmara is going to approach the Archdruid.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. I believe you have some explanation as to how the Aviara have managed to obtain one of the shards of the obelisk.
Have they?
I'm assuming you have one. Does she have one? I suppose I could use my shard to reach out and see.
You could.
Yeah, you will do so.
Okay. She will, sensing your concentration, she will sort of reach under the scarf around her neck and pull out a small pendant. And there's, it's like a small, like a little tiny vial with a couple of, like a little small handful of various gemstone chips, and among them there is a small obelisk shard as well.
You just mix it up with other shards of random jewels?
Ours is bigger.
Mine is
Camouflage.
It's not a competition.
You don't know of our ways.
Okay, that's
It's not how big it is, but how you use it.
I'm not sick. I'm.
At any rate,
Excuse me.
I was reaching out and searching for other shards, and I noticed that one is managed to find its way over to. What's the name of that place again? The Citadel?
It's not on the Citadel, but it is somewhere nearby. Somewhere between the Solar Citadel and the Aviara home planet.
Yes. So, tracked it back to my home world. I suspect it's not going to be used for a... No, I guess noble isn't such a good word.
The Aviara Holy Lands contain many planets besides Kemet. What makes you think it's fallen into anyone's hands yet?
Because it felt it was being actively obscured from my location spell.
Well, that does complicate matters, doesn't it?
At any rate, I seek to obtain it before we continue on to our primary mission.
Very well. And do you anticipate resistance?
Much. Yes, I do.
Where exactly in the Holy Lands have you pinpointed its location?
Somewhere between Combat and the Solar Citadel.
Somewhere close to Ionaria, perhaps.
Perhaps. I'll probably likely know more if I get within a more reasonable distance.
Well, at the very least, you should prepare for inclement weather. Because the worlds orbiting Ionaria are not the most hospitable. After all, it was the storms over Ionaria 8 that brought down the infinite tomorrow.
Well, I suppose I'll just have to make do.
Well, wait, when you say be prepared, are you saying like rain, like torrential rain, or just like a lot of rain? Or are you talking about snows or acid snows?
Ionaria 8 is known for severe thunderstorms.
No open-toed warhammer boots. Got it.
Well, we'll just attach a lightning rod to Lasnus and be done with it.
Put it on the second tallest instead. Because I'm fairly certain Narita is the tallest.
So, just so that I can make sure that I'm clear on this, they're talking about Alice going to this place, Ionaria, to pick up another shard. Whereabouts is Ionaria? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, deep in the hearts of Aviara territory.
Okay.
But it is on your way back towards Chiron from here.
Really? Towards Chiron?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sort of... Let's see.
It's not on the map.
Yeah. Dude.
I neglected to
No. I just wanted to get the general area because I just sort of zoomed in on it
Yeah.
and I wanted to go ahead and display sort of the area we're talking about.
Yes.
But
Oh, that was a really cool transition. Just wanted to shout that out. Nice job.
do we know anything else about circumstances of why they're there, or are we just like picking up a signal? Is that what's happening?
Oh, it's most likely that the cult of the sun above, and he says sun above and cult very, very sarcastically, are seeking to co-opt it for its own personal gain.
That's not fair. The Order of the Sepulchre is here to protect the whole of society, all societies.
Okay, I see someone's been studying up on their indoctrination.
I got a badge for it.
Okay. Are there things that we should know as people in the in this setting about these groups automatically, or is this secretive stuff?
You would know that the Avia Ra initially, before they became spacefarers, they worshipped the sun that their planet Kemet orbits. And then when they went to space and realized that there is a big friggin' star in the center of the galaxy, their religion sort of transferred onto the Sepulchre star. So all other suns in the galaxy are just basically aspects and avatars of the sun at the center of the galaxy. That is their thought. And they fought a big, long war with the elves over who got to study that star. And it kept going until the elves were nearly wiped out, and the only thing that ended it was the elves granting citizenship to the newly sentient Vect. And then the Vect created the Order of the Sepulchre to make sure that a war like that never happens again.
But just
like,
so sorry, go. Well, no, Rick Mara is of a and this Archdruid are of a different sect. Is that correct?
Yes, Rek Mara left. He left his homeworld in a self-imposed exile because he decided to pursue other things after the Archdruid saved his life. So he decided to study the obelisk. The Archdruid is actually an elf.
Okay. So, kind of need to know this. If we say we swing by to try to pick this thing up, by any chance are we getting into the middle of a holy war or anything like that?
Probably not.
I'm keeping a close watch on it. Don't worry.
Yeah. These days, the elves and Avia Ra are somewhat in cooperation at the Solar Citadel, and the Sepulchre Knights kind of keep a tight rein on that. They're more heavily concentrated toward the center of the galaxy, around the Sepulchre Star and the Solar Citadel, which is a big, giant space station that the elves or Avia Ra constructed to study the star. And they believe there's an object inside the star, and they're trying to figure out what that is. But because it's inside a giant sun, it makes it difficult.
Yeah, it's probably not as hospitable as one might like.
Yeah. Mhm.
So also, I have, if I may, one other question, and my apologies, but it's been a while. Was that citadel, or the sort of at the center of things, not the location that we saw in that plan on that battle table to
Oh, yes.
be
Yes.
besieged by pirate fleet?
Mm.
Just out of
Yes,
curiosity.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've also heard mention of Ionaria 8 before with all of your research on the Infinite Tomorrow and Sirgal
Yeah.
and his plans. Which are also loosely connected to this other pirate stuff that's been going on.
It's all connected.
So yeah, I mean, I don't mind necessarily swinging by to, at the very least, do some reconnaissance. But if there's a
Yeah.
if
And
there's
if
a
you'd
war
like
in the way, it might be
to
difficult.
do a little more, as far as you know, there isn't a holy war like the elves. The elves and the Avia Ra are not currently at odds, other than the occasional, squabble over who found what first and who gets to examine it.
That's fair. All right.
But
It should also be pointed out the Avia Ra are still trying to spread their religion, but they've given up doing so with established races and instead are trying to find less advanced civilizations to convert them. So,
Shame.
yeah.
Hook 'em young.
Missionaries.
yes. If you would like to do some more research on Ionaria 8, you can perhaps speak to the mock keepers here, or and find out what else you can learn about what you might encounter there besides the weather. Probably you already know, depending on who was doing what research, because it's been a while. At least some of you are aware that there used to be like an observatory there for studying the weather patterns, because Ionaria 8 is habitable, except for the severe thunderstorms. And then all of the pirate stories. You're not really. You could try to look into why the pirates might have been in that area, but yeah.
That's a good idea. Sorry.
Is there any news about Ionaria 8 on space Twitter?
On space Twitter.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing sort of monitoring channels in a little bit.
Has it been trending?
Oh, okay.
Big storm on Ionaria 8.
Okay. It has actually, as you all start pulling up the comm channels, you do notice that there is a breaking news bulletin going, like, scrolling across the screens on every channel. And Unum will also kind of sort of interrupt your conversation over the comms, saying that you might want to see this. And you turn on your comms and you you look at the channel, and any channel you pull up, there are 16 characters scrolling across the screen, and various hollow cast commentators discussing the discovery of this void beacon that has been picked up. A void beacon is a highly compressed data transfer that is used for emergency broadcast. And it compresses the data so tightly that it can only send 16 characters. And those 16 characters spell the words, "Help me, Rekmarat."
I strongly suspect someone's trying to get your attention.
Oh, you think that's to him?
Just a guess.
I mean, I suppose I'd be willing to help if it was sort of along the way, but... I mean, it's not like I would go...
Would you
completely out of
like
my way.
to track the signal's location?
Yes, he will actually request that the information be uploaded to Unum for analysis.
Fritz butts in and says, "Already downloading."
Fritz, the void beacon is coming from Ion Area 8.
Yeah, so it looks like it's coming from Iron Area 8. You guys gonna get back up here so we can go ride some thunderstorms? And you notice just a hint more excitement in Fritz's voice at the thought of thunderstorms?
Thunderstorms, brain worms. Thunderstorms, brain worms.
I'll take my chances with the thunderstorms more than the brainworms.
Brainstorms, thunderworms.
We've got it all. Let's do it.
At least it's not thunderworms. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm fine as long as Rick Morale got everything he needed from the Archdruid.
He probably has.
I thought all he was looking for was permission, and I guess he's gotten that.
He wasn't even looking for permission, just information.
I guess looking
We
for
haven't even
acknowledgement.
discussed
It's
the issue
forgiveness
of
more than
sharing
permission.
information with Iris.
Yeah.
We're just here to talk about the obelisk.
Oh yeah, someone named Iris wanted to exchange some information with you. I said maybe, and she can find you here if she really needs to, but it didn't concern me too much, so I didn't want to get too involved.
Man.
Oh my god.
I take it you don't like my astrogator very much.
I mean, I think the most anyone can expect of me is indifference. So
Not wrong.
True that.
I don't know. It didn't seem very indifferent when you left a message on the wall to Witwicky.
I just expect a little more decorum, that's all.
Fair enough. Next time, sign your own name to it.
Well, I didn't really see much logic in that. Your name just carries more authority.
You won't get an apology.
I know. We go way back. Sometimes I wonder if this one was more trouble than he was worth, but then he has found three shards.
Could be 4 if I just take yours.
That's not finding it, then.
You can certainly try.
That sounded like permission.
You're not helping.
I'll be Archdruid at some point. I don't need to rush things.
Unless she kills you here.
I don't have to. The galaxy is a big place. If he survives long enough to become Archdruid, then I can retire.
Well, now that we've straightened out that matter. And then Rekmarad just turns and walks towards the zoo.
Okay.
That conversation was hovering between awkward and ominous. Hey, listen, and Cole's going to, if I may, is going to turn to the Archdruid and say, "Look, I kind of get the sense this is probably it's probably important, and also given what we're doing, we're trying to establish trust with Iris and all that. If you like, I might be able to arrange a subspace communication channel for you. If you need to, if you want to try and talk to her like now." Do you need to, or am I misreading that?
Are you asking Rekmara or the Archdruid?
No, I was talking to the Archdruid.
Oh, sorry.
He knows Rekmara doesn't care, so...
All I heard was something about Iris wants to talk to you, so I wasn't sure exactly if that was what was happening or not.
Iris wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
Iris knows how to get a hold of me. I believe Iris was looking for Rekmara because he now has as much information, if not more, than I do. And more tangible evidence.
May I ask your professional opinion about something here?
Of course.
I understand that there are probably layers of stuff, and you can only say so much, but first off, is this normal for there to be this level of antagonism in your organization? Is that how things are done?
No, I think this is a matter of certain individual personalities and how they play with one another.
Okay. So with my next question, and this is... I'm going to be blunt because you're owed it. What are those shards doing to him?
Enhancing his abilities.
His behavior's been changing a little bit. And I don't know whether or not this is something we should be worried about. I'm all for him following his dreams and all that and getting to where he needs to be. But I'm worried they're affecting him in psychological ways. It's a little that might be not great for him. What do you think is happening?
I think that when one acquires a new skill, or perhaps many, in a short amount of time. There is perhaps a period of adjustment, and you are not necessarily wrong to be cautious.
I guess we'll just need to keep an eye out. No one ever said this job was safe. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And also, sometimes it is good not to be alone. So we sometimes need help opening up, or a push in the right direction. So he has been traveling with you this long. Don't be afraid to speak up if you see something amiss.
Yeah, that opening up thing is still something I'm kind of getting used to, but yeah. Good to think about. Good to think about. And, Cole will just sort of nod and turn around and start heading back.
All right. Fritz, as you are tinkering with this data packet that you have downloaded, would you make me a tech check just for fun?
Just for fun. What ridiculous number is... Oh, yeah. Modified 27. 6. 26.
Oh, okay. Okay. You are able to decompress this file, and would you like to wait until the rest of the party has returned to the ship, or would you like to play it yourself?
Let's take our break so that we can leave a little bit of a cliffhanger on our break point here, because I know we were looking at a break here momentarily.
Yeah.
And we can put our heads together to make sure we put this together right.
All right, sounds like a plan. So as Fritz is tinkering with this file, and you, the audience sees their face light up as a hologram appears. That's what we'll cut to break.
Okay, cool. We will be back in a little bit. We will see you shortly. Welcome to the break. I am here once again with James Introcaso, writer and game designer. Greetings, sir. Greetings.
Greetings. Good to see you, Jim. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you are the creator of Burn Bright, which is a system that is out primarily for folks using Roll20. And I was wondering if you could talk to us about it a bit. Tell us a little bit about Burn Bright, if you would.
Sure, yeah. So Burn Bright, which Roll20 published, right? So they are the publisher and owner, and that's why it's available exclusively on their platform, is a science fantasy RPG that they asked me, along with several other people, Cat Cool, Darcy Ross, and Jim McClure, to create for them. It uses a lot of the bells and whistles of Roll20, but you can actually play it at a table. You still need Roll20 to access the rules, but you could do everything else analog if you wanted to. It takes place in the Olaxis galaxy, which very well may be the last galaxy in existence, because there is this phenomenon that surrounds the galaxy on all sides called the burn. It's like this orange aurora, kind of northern lightsy looking thing that slowly closes in on all sides, and as it touches and overtakes planets, space stations, people, everything it touches disappears, never seen or heard from again. And so that creates a lot of problems, resource shortages, refugee crises, lots of people and places suddenly disappearing, greedy corporations profiting, all of that kind of stuff. And the players take on the role of heroes, right? A lot of times in these post-apocalyptic stories, we see people say like, well, what will this do to us? Will this turn us into monsters? And Burn Bright says, you are people who say, no, the end of all things is not a reason to be a bad person. We are still going to do good because it is the right thing to do. And we're going to help people, and, we're going to explore and have fun and maybe make some money along the way, even though it's all coming crashing down. And that's not to say that like everybody's happy, lucky unicorn, people get mad, people get upset. There's emotional moments for sure. But so that's the idea. There are no humans in Burn Bright. Everyone is an alien species that is super powered because of their anatomy and physiology. So there are all sorts of species. We don't have time to get into all 8 of them, but I will shout out 2 of my favorites. One is the Peacecraft. You play a larger individual, like you use like a large sized token, a 2x2 token in Roll20, and you are a mech that can pilot itself, but also your friends can like hop in and combine with you, and you can get all of these features whenever you're being piloted by a friend and working together with them. And there is also the Rornan, which is when you play a Rornan, you play a swarm of telepathic bugs that share one hive mind, right? And so that's really fun because you're moving around and you're telepathic. You might have some telekinesis, that kind of thing, and you can flatten yourself to move through doorways or build yourself into a rope that your companions could climb up. All kinds of things like that. So that's the basic overview. Mechanically, it uses a system that we created from the ground up. And that has been really fun and rewarding to see people play that as well, because the system itself is something new to RPGs that we really, really have enjoyed.
Let's talk a little bit about the system. What are some of the basics for it?
Sure, yeah. So Roll20, you have a skill-based character like you would in like Fate, right? You don't have big attributes like D&D. You have 18 different skills, 6 mental, 6 physical, and 6 social, and each one has a different die size associated with it. D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. The fewer sides your die has, the worse you are with that skill. So if you have a D12, you're really great with the skill. If you have a D4, you're not so good with it. And then every task that you go to complete with a skill, right? A task where failure would make things more interesting. You roll your skill die a number of times equal to the task's complexity. So complexity 2 task is pretty simple. A complexity 4 task is hard. And they go all the way up to complexity 7, right? You roll your dice, and if you have doubles, right? If you have match numbers, then you fail. Otherwise, you succeed, because Burn Bright assumes you're a competent hero. Like we see in many science fantasy stories like Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? These people who can take on whole armies at once, even though there's only a couple of them. So it's that idea. And whenever you fail in Burn Bright, you don't just fail, you make things worse. And so you come up with story consequences with the DM. There's also a big table of 100 consequences you can roll on if you or your your GM doesn't have an idea about what you want to do. You can roll on that and check out the consequences for failure and make something fun happen. It's a great game because people love to fail in it too, which was one of our design goals. Like, make failure something exciting that people are like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" Right? And so we did that with it, and that's fun. So yeah, those are the very basics of the core rules.
I feel like it's one of the best things that could possibly have happened to RPG mechanics within the last 20 years or so, to actually have a push to make failure interesting.
Yes, right? Because you're still playing a game when you fail, and so you still want it to be exciting, and even, dare I say, fun, if you can get there, right? It's when you're playing a board game and you fail, that's different because it's competitive, right? But for this, so many RPGs don't have a competitive bent. Some do. So it's good to be able to say, like, how can we embrace this so it's not just like, well, sorry, nothing happens, and that's boring. And it also increases the tension. There's good reasons in Burn Bright for having failure have a consequence and a cost associated with it, because we want people to feel like they're gambling when they make skill rolls in combat, and so that's a big part of it.
Nice. Well, if you can let us know a little bit, if we can delve into a little bit of the history here, what kind of led you to Burn Bright? How did you sort it out?
That's a great question. So when I was working with Roll20 at the time, I had created an adventure that's available for free. It's like a D&D starter adventure. It teaches you how to use D&D and how to use Roll20. They commissioned me to make it. It's called the Master's Vault. You can download it for free from Roll20 and check it out. And so at the time when we were working on it, I said to them, hey, this is cool, you all creating your own content, right? You have this platform where you sell Wizards of the Coast products and Paizo products and Chaosium and all this other stuff. Have you ever thought about doing it yourself? Kind of like Netflix, right? Used to have other people's stuff. Now they have other people's stuff and their own stuff. And they said, funny you bring that up. We do want to do that. And we want to create an original role-playing game. We're thinking sci-fi. Are you interested in putting together a team to work on it? And I was like, holy, yes, absolutely. And so I got together with the team, and we said, like, okay, we formed our team. What do we like? What don't we like? And we started to talk about exploration and how, like, in science, fantasy, and we did fantasy because none of us are scientists. Well, actually, that's not true. Darcy Ross is a scientist.
That is true.
Yes, true. But none of us are astrophysicists, and so we wanted to be able to do things without having to science them. So we were like, hey, if we magic them, it's easier to explain for us. So that was the idea behind science fantasy. And then similarly, the idea for the Burn came from fantasy and sci-fi are so mind-blowing in their expansiveness, and you can go to all these different planets, and you can we wanted to be able to keep the universe contained so we didn't over-design it, and that's where the idea from the Burn came from our laziness, basically. But it's really the driving force of the whole setting now, and so I'm really, really glad we came up with it. And I should mention that Bright is spelled Bryte, because it's that's the term for an age in the game, right? So there's, like, the Age of War is called the War Bright, and the Age of Exploration is called the Exploration Bright, and so you're in the Burn Bright because it's the age of the Burn.
Awesome. Well, I got to squeeze in one more question, setting related, or even just creative process related, because I'm just too curious here. What brought you to decide no humans for this setting?
That's a great question. So that is something that Kat and Darcy and Jim really pushed for at the beginning. And the reason behind that, which I really love and agree with, is that if you have humans, right, every other species or ancestry in your setting kind of becomes a monolith in that they're compared to humans, right? So like we often think of elves as like they're like humans, but they live in the woods and they're graceful and they, you know, they don't have as many they don't have as much diversity within them as humans do. And they wanted that diversity of personalities and cultures and things like that in every species. So that's what we did. In Burn Bright, every species has a home world and like a home culture that we talk about in depth, but we also say that like, but you don't have to, you know, you don't have to have this culture. You could have grown up here or here or here, and we give you the tools to build your own as well.
Thank you so much for doing that, by the way, because that is something that is sorely needed in RPGs. I think, and just in fiction in general, really, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And I got to give credit to the three other members of the team, because that was really, they were the push for that. But I am a true believer in that, and like I'm so glad we did it that way. And it's also the way the game works out, right? Is that like so much of what your character can do is dependent on their, what we would think of as humans' alien anatomy, that I'm not sure what I would really do for humans. You know what I mean? It would be like, hey, you're a human, so you're kind of good at everything. And that always feels bland in an RPG as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, so folks looking for this, they should, go on Roll20 and do a search for Burn Bright? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, so it's available in the Roll20 marketplace. You can also go to burnbright.com. Roll20 built a special page for it where you can learn more there.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for talking to us. I really appreciate it. If anyone wants to find you online, where should they go?
So you can follow me on Twitter at James Introcaso and over at worldbuilderblog.com.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to throw things back to myself now, and we will catch you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
We have returned. To where and what I am not certain, because I have no memory past the last few minutes. But I'm sure it will be very interesting and exciting. And actually, there is, you know what? I'm wondering if the Archdruid mentioned Chiron without us having mentioned Chiron to them. That was a thought that I kind of have in the back of my head now. Because the Archdruid mentioned Chiron, and I don't think anyone said anything to them about Chiron. Unless they have been in communication with Iris, to whom I think we also talked about Chiron. I'm being paranoid, so I'm sorry. I'll be quiet now.
Actually, Lastness has been faithfully reporting back to the Order of the Sepulchre. Because, Order of the Sepulchre.
Do they talk to each other a lot?
It is possible that the Archdruid has gotten the news from the local Sepulchre Knight on this small station, who would have gotten the report from 5-0,
Right.
Saltmaw.
I was about to say that my Vect Overseer 5-0, he's great and all, but we were sent to the Maw for a reason. Lasness herself refuses to accept that reason.
Yep.
She's here on a super important mission, you guys.
To meddle?
That's not what the Order of the Sepulchre does. We protect everyone from the hegemony of I'm practicing that one. Dang. Hegemony of man to even the Avira themselves.
The enemies in the hedge.
Gotta go back to my elocution practices before every stream now.
No worries.
So we return to the menagerie with the party taking their leave of the Archdruid and a void beacon still looping on all channels. It just repeats at regular intervals. Because, Fritz can probably explain to you how void beacons work. But some of the rest of you spacers might also know. Cole, probably you know something about void beacons because you worked in the military and they probably carry a few in case of emergency. You put your SOS in there and it repeats for 7 days until the beacon burns out. Can be picked up on any channel anywhere in the verse. So now everyone knows that someone wants Rekmara's help.
And they're all surprised by it.
And
Not the least of which is Rekmara, but
whoever Rekmara is.
Yeah. That guy, what do you do? So Fritz will hop on the comm and say, "Hey guys, I've got a picture to go along with that message everybody is seeing if anybody wants to come up here and watch it."
I'm on my way. I definitely want to see it. But just so you guys know, Squither is blowing up with star hashtag who is Rekmara, and they have 40 different ways of spelling it.
Didn't the message say it?
Yeah, don't they just have to copy and paste?
You know how it is
not
on
everyone
Twitter,
does.
It's bitter. What are you gonna do?
right?
Wait. Was it Rekmara who became a tiny penguin?
yeah.
Dorita's on the comms on are we calling it Spitter?
Twitter.
There's
Twitter.
There's also Hologlam.
We're on Splitter as well as Hoglam posting the real Rekmara. It's the little penguin. She's got the pictures still.
Meanwhile, Rekmara is actually in the menagerie, and he's paying a long overdue visit to the frog, whatever.
Okay.
He's just gonna hop the barrier. He isn't gonna bother, sneaking around this time.
So you have the barrier into the frog habitat?
Yes.
Okay. You cue the croaks of several startled frogs.
It was the frog that the
Yes.
weird crab thing wanted, right?
Yes. These frogs are... these frogs are like the size of small humanoids. Like gnome-sized frogs. Some of them walk around on their hind legs.
Did you name a particular one?
She said that the handsome frog gentleman. There is one with a bow tie.
Fine looking frog man. That one.
I guess Rekmar is just going to cast a spell, Speak with Animals.
Okay.
I'm just a messenger, but there is a crab queen that wishes your presence for tea. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is far beneath my station, but
He's so humble.
Well, isn't that nice? I would love to have tea with Barnacle Best. She's lovely. I thought for sure you were coming with a message from Miss Octopiggy.
That's who it is, right?
He keeps busy.
no,
That
no, we
son
didn't
of a
have footage.
fawn.
But wasn't it the
Anyway.
Octo Piggy who wanted the date?
Was it? I thought it was Barnacle Bess.
We had tea with Barnacle.
You know what? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but they kind of share the same space. So how about I just drop you off over there and I can go on my business?
Oh, dear. Have you ever received 4 hugs at once?
Do I look like a hugger to you?
No. And I don't recommend trying. I had welts for days.
My heart bleeds for you. Anyhow, look, are you going to go or not? Do you want me to drop you off there? Otherwise, I'm just going to shoot them a message saying that was received.
I think I can find my own way.
All right. My work here is underwhelmingly completed.
I really hope somebody leaves a review of him on Spoogle, like 1 star, not effervescent.
Got Ross matchmaking services, 1 star.
Anyhow. Yeah, he's just going to hop over the fence and head back to the ship.
Narita's there on the way back, watching you. Hey.
What do you want?
And Narita just like walks really close, and then like tries to hug him.
He's just going to poke the Avira Sunstaff in her way just to keep her at arm's length. And then he's going to charge it to make it sound like, hey, it's active and could blast.
Narita's not scared. Just pushes it. Come here.
Marat's just going to have to cast a cantrip then, isn't he?
Oh no, we've got PvP.
Oh, here we go.
But short of the hug, before you start attacking Narita for no reason, she just stops and like holds your shoulders and says, "I'm here for you." And awkwardly, like kind of like rubs your head and then walks away.
Now you messed up his feathers.
She's taking the Archdruid's like words to heart that we just gotta stick close to you and let you know that you're loved, and that's why you're so mean.
He's gonna cast Gust. Push her over a bit.
Just like topple like a tree trunk.
Yeah, you can roll strength to negate it, but
She's not trying to fight you. That's fine. She'll just stumble a little bit, turn around, look at you. Is that how you treat someone who loves you?
usually it's much worse.
You see Rick Murrah, as you turn to walk away, a line of tiny Wismos trying to form a low barrier across the walkway, which you can easily step over, I'm sure. But they were trying to make a trip line.
Really?
You hurt their mama. Hurt their mama. How could you?
Yeah, okay. So Rick Morrell's gonna cast Create Water and dump it on them.
My babies.
They're still not on the ship yet, right?
Yeah.
You start creating water on my ship, you are in trouble. Just saying.
In the hallway.
From off duty, creating water on the ship.
It only took us 27 episodes to get to PvP. Here we are.
We don't count the incidental PvP, right?
Yeah, he wants to forget about that. The shooting people part.
I sincerely thought that
That was player versus environment. I have no control over the laser bolts once they leave my weapon. It's not my fault.
I suppose we should shop for some inclement weather gear before we disembark at Iuna 8.
So basically, since people are drifting back to the ship, Fritz is going to sit and watch the hologram on the bridge and just put whatever's there on loop and let people, as they get to the bridge, realize that there's something going on.
Okay.
What's that?
So you see a hologram of an Avyara woman in sort of like a dimly lit room background area. The volume's kind of low, so you have to come like right up where Fritz is in order to hear and see what's going on.
Okay. So I do.
You're going to give the rundown, right, Alyssa?
Yes. You see this woman with feathers instead of hair, and she's wearing robes. They look a little bit worse for wear. Her feathers are ruffled. She's kind of crouching in a very small room, dimly lit, and kind of like speaking into this device. She's like looking right at the camera, like she's speaking into a device of some kind. And you come in kind of toward the tail end, and so she's just crouched there saying, "Help me, Rick Murrah," and then it loops again.
Fritz is fiddling with it, so that end loop kind of kicks in a few times before it goes back to the beginning.
Okay. So Lasness comes up next to them and says, "Neat. Do we have a name for this person?"
I guess Rekmara's going to look and see.
Fritz, you get the entire file decompressed around the time Rekmara comes on board. And Rekmara, you arrive just in time to see this woman and hear her saying, "Hello, old friend. There are so many questions I want to ask and so much I need to tell you, but I'm already running out of time. After my initiation, I learned some things about the star that made me realize you were right to question things the way you did. I've taken a sabbatical to Witchbolt Island on Ionaria 8. I thought some distance from the Citadel might give me some clarity, but I seem to have fallen out of the frying pan and into the fire. Undead pirates have taken Witchbolt and begun turning their prisoners into an army of husks. Once they have finished, it's only a matter of time before they converge on the Solar Citadel. They're planning to shut down the Maw network within the Solar Citadel. I know how you feel about the sun above, but I must ask you to trust me one last time. Whatever happens, the network must not fall. They must not open the sepulchre. Help me, Rekmara. You're my only hope."
They want to open the what?
Yeah, it sounds like Sergel and his folks are making more headway than we thought. Fritz will go over and pull up the secondary deck that has the 3D plans thing that we absconded with from the Abbey, and basically pull up that projection and see kind of what things look like compared to what we know about Ionaria 8, where that's located in that map.
Okay. So, Ionaria 8 is in a sort of that neutral zone in between the hexagon that is the Dwarven Conclave and the little Aviara Holy Lands section.
Mm-hmm.
In that neutral zone is where Ionaria 8 is located. So it's it's pretty close to those core worlds.
Okay.
But it's not quite there. That the star in the very middle by the core and the sepulchre star is where the Solar Citadel is located.
Okay. And from the sort of like battle map planning stuff that we saw when we saw the maps and plans of ships and fleets that were moving in that area, is Ionaria 8 one of the planets or locations that's on that battle map at all?
Yes.
Okay. Like how bad, how many ships, how important is that spot or not? I mean,
it's marked on there. It doesn't like show like a fleet there or anything, but it was marked, like flagged as a point of interest. And you notice and that the the like timestamp of when that was flagged is at least 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
And there is like some notations that it is noted as the place where Sergal's ship is supposed to have gone down. So it's hard to say like what all has been going on there in the intervening years.
So besides the sort of historical lore about some potential collections of rare artifacts and oddities that might have been a focus that Sergal was after, that might have been what drew him to the area, but there's no indication that since that time there's been any big battles or movements or anything else like that. This is all a little bit more remote history.
Not on the Pirates battle map. If you're looking in the Arcane database for more recent news, then you will you can find out that there was probably in the last 3 years or so, there was a group of people who went to renovate the old outpost and try to establish basically kind of like a hermitage that is welcome to people of all factions. So it's not affiliated. It's kind of a neutral space. Why they wanted to go to this Thunder Dome, who knows? But and then not a whole lot. It's been kind of quiet. There was at least one other attempt to or a couple other attempts to maybe renovate it or investigate what happened after the pirate ship supposedly crashed there, but it was one of those kind of like spooky stories that's kind of like nobody is really sure what happened. All of the original scientists and officers from the original garrison that was sent there to study the weather patterns disappeared.
Okay.
And everybody it got kind of abandoned for a while, and people think it's just kind of creepy because they don't know what happened.
Sounds perfect for us, right? we seem to do that a fair bit. So yeah, and Area 8 sounds like a place of interest for me. I'm assuming for Rekmara. I don't know if anybody else has it on their particular little, bucket list passport check off. But it also happens to be kind of nearer than Chiron and a place that we can get to with relative ease, I think.
Now comes the time when Jim once again asks for things to be reminded that he's forgotten.
Okay.
When we ran into my to the best of my recollection, we have run into significant undead presences twice so far. I think. Once was actually down on the planet that was near Saltmaw.
Yes, on planet Likshay, there's a creepy, undead, swampy, dead forest.
And the other time was it at that Abbey?
Asteroid Abbey. Yes.
Asteroid Abbey? Okay.
Yeah. And You would have probably heard from Lee that there was the alchemist who originally used that lab that you went to clear out in your first mission ever as a party. The alchemist who formerly owned that lab and some of his assistants were still there, and they were undead. And the pirates slash smugglers had barricaded them behind that door that said "danger."
Oh, that's right. That door we decided
And
not
we
to go
never
into.
opened it
Because we were smart enough not to open. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to open it. We didn't.
We actually paid attention to the sign.
Yes.
Okay, so
3 places.
well, yeah, technically, yeah, but on the occasion, and in particular, I'm thinking of at the Abbey, when we ran into the person with the energy blades,
laser swords.
yes.
Yeah. Knife catcher.
Yeah, knife catcher. There it is. That they were coming out of a gate. That was there.
Yes,
Is that
they
right?
were.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think at the time we were thinking that it was connecting to some sort of was it weird void connective thing out in the swamp, but I am now wondering if the other end of that of the other side of that gate is actually Ionia 8. It's on Ionia 8.
Why not both?
Possibly. Could be. They might just be able to change it. They could get different coordinates possibly. But I'm trying to remember who it was that who were we doing these jobs for? I think the Asteroid Abbey was a gig for folks nearby, right?
Was for the Spacers Guild and the mining company.
Okay, and that was very specific to that area. Yeah.
Yeah, and the one on Planet Lakshay was just get the wood from the tree.
Yeah.
We just chose a bad location for which tree we were going to go after. And if I recall correctly, it was the creatures' mouths when they were grabbing and swallowing that were like one end of a portal. So my impression is that wherever that creature is could potentially be one end of a portal. It didn't necessarily have to be that specific planet, that specific space. So
Okay. Yeah.
that was my understanding of it. It was a little more general a phenomenon. But it all seems to be tying back to these blasted pirates. And the is that the Scarlet Brotherhood? Is that the name of the broader group?
The Scarlet Brotherhood is the group of informants that you find at the docks.
Got it. Okay.
During shift, you're not really sure what they do have some shady connections, so you're not really sure there. But the pirate nation is called the Void Princes.
Right. So it's the Void Princes that seem to be the problematic ones, and it's the Void Princes' old battle plans and old deck that we took out of the Abbey, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay. So Void Princes could be behind something that's going on in Area 8, or would be interested in it. I mean, if Sergals was trying to go there and crash there, then that was, again, another potential point of interest against that. So there might be a thread there. But what we'll find on the other end, we don't know until we pull that thread.
I'm just trying to figure out who we should try to contact to try to of interest for this, right? Who it is that wants this who might want this investigated.
Who would pay us to do this?
Yes, that's basically what. Yeah, looking for it.
Yeah.
Because it's not that, I mean, this is someone asking for help, so I mean, it's okay. But trying to think if there's anyone that would be able to, or that would be interested in that situation being cleared up. And I figure with the sheer amount of media going on right now, someone's going to be interested in this.
I'd say with the sheer amount of media going on, it's likely someone's going to figure out and try to get there and scoop you. So I think this is one of the few cases where it may be, do the mission and cash in afterwards, as opposed to trying to find your buyer up front.
Yeah.
But I don't
yeah,
know.
we're gonna
Let's
have to-
ask Mr. Capitalism himself,
Right.
Mr. Effervescent Rek Mara, about what he thinks.
I think that shard's getting the coal too.
Yeah.
No, I will. No, he's always been about trying to find
He's always
the.
been a mercenary.
Yeah, he's always been a mercenary. That's his job description.
Well,
Fritz, by the way, is already figuring out all of the navigation plans and working with Lasnus to try to get us prepped and jumped and ready to go as soon as these guys decide that is what we are actually doing. So
Okay.
I don't think there's anybody out there who would compensate us for our involvement in this issue. The only one who would consider it would be the members of the Sun Above religion. And I'm persona non grata with them.
I'm not. But I'm also just non grata.
I mean, yeah, we can probably. I agree that we should probably go and check it out. I'm just trying to figure out who to contact on the way. This is a potential security issue, really, for a lot of the galaxy. So,
Well,
It's
I think
frustrating that
contacting
they're
someone would actually would disrupt our cause if we are trying to attempt this with some degree of secrecy and/or stealth. I know that's a foreign concept to certain paladins on board, but
Well,
it's a fair point.
listen, they haven't been paying attention to all of my reports in, so it's not getting kicked up the bureaucratic ladder fast enough. And if you violate the chain of command, you could have your badges stricken. So I'm okay with doing this the best way that we can for maximum badgitude.
Well, it's just the thing is that if any of the you folks were right that Fritz was right that the pirates are going to be interested in this. So if they're going to be monitoring any communication channels, we have to, we got to be careful about that. So yeah, I'd say we should just go ahead and go for it.
besides, I'm sure we can find any sort of compensation for our time by, robbing the pirates of their possessions.
not like we haven't done it before.
What? I am all about messing
Fritz
up.
gestures at the ship.
Narita thinks about that silk still somewhere.
Yeah.
There's some bourbon also on the ship.
Yeah. All right. Hearing no objection, Fritz turns to Lasnus. Push the button.
I get to push the button.
Just push the button. Spam.
I'm very concerned.
Wait, did Rekra tell us who the woman was?
No,
I don't think he did.
Did you expect him to?
I would like him to. Narita's just like holding an armful of like little wet Wizmos and all pissy about it. Who's Lady? Who's Lady Rekmara?
you heard her. She's a priestess. Or former priestess.
She called you old friend.
Yeah, I didn't quite like that either. I really dislike it when people seem to have any sort of assumption of familiarity with me.
Are you sure it's that or affection?
No, that's impossible.
Nuri just takes her Wismos and walks away. Like, this is the conversation.
The Wismos, it should be noted, are much less upset about the whole ordeal than Narita was. They thought it was a pretty neat trick.
They're simple and they don't know.
They are tricksters and they appreciate a good joke.
You're telling me they're simple? Have you heard about the Order of the Sepulchre?
Nuri
Oh,
runs
no.
away. Runs away.
Oh no.
After the cantrip goes invisible, is gone.
The Wismo swarm takes on the general shape of Sir 5-0 and starts bubbling. Ted starts bubbling and Aquan inside his suit, inside his fishbowl.
Oh dear. All right, so it looks like we're on our way.
All right. So you
Fritz is happily tinkering, making sure that the armor is all like charged up and ready to go.
Yep.
And it's looking around and it's just like, if anybody wants me to charge up your weapons or anything before we get there, just let me know. Got a little time. Really only works, it works best with melee, but, we can see.
Charge up this blaster.
Wait, armor. I could charge up your armor.
All right. So everybody gets their gear together as the ship takes off and goes through the wormhole in the mouth of the giant skeleton. Once again, the ship is flanked by a couple of those space mermaids and some little jellyfish-like creatures that kind of follow along through the wormhole. Although most of you probably don't see it because you two have to close your blast shields to go. But just before you close them and go through the portal, as it opens, the mermaids come out. And you emerge. Near the Aviara Holy Lands.
I don't know, the compressed recycled space air just smells more holy around here. Don't you agree?
It
And-
smells stale and antiquated.
It's void. There's no. Never mind.
And Fritz, you do get a good shot as you're coming out of the wormhole, as the mermaids kind of sail along next to you for a while, and then they turn around and go back through the wormhole before it closes behind you. And Oceanus will be thrilled.
Did we all see them this time?
Yeah, so you can all see them this time.
And Fritz got video, so.
Beautiful. They have the exact amount of mermaid to the exact amount of space.
If you've seen that movie Stardust where she glows, it kind of looks like that.
Did they tell us there was something we had to worry about with respect to space mermaids, or am I just making that up in my head?
I think Cole's paranoia is kicking in.
Yeah, probably.
Oceanus is convinced that the space mermaids are the key to the nautilid's evolution.
I just think he really wants to be a space mermaid.
Maybe.
And who doesn't?
Maybe.
I want to send some of that footage to some folks to check out. That's very interesting. It's rare you find something that can just, that small that can be on its own in the void.
Narita doesn't know anything, this is out of character question, about the space mermaids, does she?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I mean, unless you could roll a history check, but no one has encountered them, and you didn't seem to think they existed when Oceanus brought up the possibility that he saw one, or that they saw one.
Yeah, and then they started talking about the other Nautilus stuff yet again. So I think I was just trying to get him to stop talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't really know much about them.
Okay.
As far as you know, it was just something Oceanus and the kids were making up. So.
Except I saw it now, so now I'm just like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it bothering anybody else that we've run into at least 2 or 3 legendary creatures within the last few days?
We're just fortunate.
Fritz has been chalking it up to shard pieces and weirdness related to that, and is fully expecting to see more legendary creatures and weirdness if there are more shard pieces somewhere in the general vicinity of the planet that we're headed to. So
that's fair.
That's just kind of the mindset that Fritz is taking.
Same.
Yeah. No, and Cole basically was asking that in character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When shards are involved, this is kind of par for the course.
I guess maybe it is.
Before we head anywhere or do anything, Narita wants to continue trying to comfort Rekmara and help him to open up and share his feelings. But after having been rejected, she realizes, okay, maybe I'm not what he needs. Maybe what he needs is a little rug of mothering. So she like brings it out and finds him wherever he is, and then just kind of like throws it at him and lets it do its thing. Get some mothering, buddy. Get some mothering. You can tell the rug everything.
Did you take the rug back from? I thought you gave the rug to the baby nautilids. Or is that?
I took it when I was there, and then I took it back.
Oh.
This is my rug. Narita needs comfort sometimes too. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
The rug sort of appears to be like looking Rekmara up and down, like sizing him up. Like if it could talk, it would be saying, "You're so skinny."
Rekmara is just going to look at the rug and cast Dispel Magic.
The reason it set you on fire. What is wrong with you? Just takes the rug back and is mad about it.
Fritz is going to wander over to Narita and sort of like low, just quietly to her say, I can probably take care of that. I can fix up the rug for you so that won't ever happen again.
She's got little tears in her eyes holding it. And this is like, yes, please.
All right. Fritz is going to look over at Lasness and say, coordinates for an area 8 are plugged in. You can get us there. I'm going to go work on this for a little bit. And Fritz is going to take a short rest and work on a not magic version of the Rug of Mothering.
Okay.
Yep, Lasness turns on her own wrist holder hollow system. That's totally not my cell phone with its flash. She starts piloting the course and adds 13 loop-de-loops and looks around, puts the number back to 0 with a very heavy sigh.
Unum says, I won't tell if you won't.
We'll have our chance. It has to be at the most dramatic moment possible.
Agreed.
Nurita's going back to her room to be comforted by the Wizmos and some silk.
The Wizmos just sort of swarm over your life suit and kind of give you a big hug from all sides. It would be creepy if it wasn't your own familiar. All right.
Took me a second to figure out how I wanted to do this with regard to messaging.
Uh-huh.
And I think I may have figured it out.
Okay.
Again, I didn't want to do anything. First, I know we were talking about using contacts to get subspace communication of some kind. I don't know if that's a thing that falls into play here, but I wanted to send a message to Lee.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing that I think it's going to say, that I'm pretty sure she'll understand what this is just sort of some sort of private message that kind of will quote the beacon, the void beacon, and will just say, "This is what we had that meeting about." And so I'm pretty sure she'll know, what meeting
Okay.
we're talking about, because it's I think the only actual official meeting that's happened in this campaign. So that will hopefully tell her what this actually connects to, and the horrible threat to security it represents.
Okay.
Might want to loop someone in.
All right. Hopefully it will get there post-haste.
Yeah, that was the reason I asked about the subspace thing, because I wasn't sure what I don't understand how the technology works. So.
You should be, since you just came out of a maw, you should be able to send a message back through it.
Okay.
And it should be able to get to her. If not, she knows who Rekmara is, and she has probably seen the void beacon.
Yeah. I mean, it's either way. It's not too difficult to figure out, but that at the very least will let her know that we've seen it too.
Yes.
And we know what's happening.
Good to know. Yeah. All right. So, you, Lasness, you plot a course and take your ship the rest of the way to Ionaria 8. It is classified as a Tier 3 colony world, orbiting a gas giant. It would be a great place to live, if not for the ever punctual electrical megastorm that sweeps across its landscape every 20 days.
Okay, everybody, we're here. Make sure you get all your equipment on, so that way you do not turn into a southern dwarven country fried steak.
It is not currently storming.
You did?
It may not, but I'd rather not be caught unawares. How soon is it till the next megastorm in this area? And how reliable?
Cazimi, are you muted?
Am I?
Yes,
There you are.
I was.
You, Cazimi.
Oh, yes.
I didn't.
As usual, as tends
Yeah,
to
like I saw
happen.
you like talking, and I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah. I think it was just in relation to something that Lasna said. So
Okay.
Okay.
How many how soon till the megastorm comes to this area that we're in? And is this the right area that we're supposed to be in?
That's where Rekmara is going to cast Druidcraft to predict the weather for the next 24 hours.
Okay.
Ooh.
The weather for the next 24 hours should be clear.
Should be.
darn.
Should be to what percentage?
How much do you trust him?
I would just like to point out that I am far more skilled at my craft than any of you are at yours.
Are you?
Fritz laughed out loud.
I'll compare badges to you any day of the week.
I don't think he has any.
Badges. You don't need no stinking badges. Badges. Got no badges.
Waiting for
Don't
that
need no
one.
stinking badges.
I'm gonna show you no badges.
Reed just points at you. Just points. Doesn't do anything, just points.
Oh, glad that you can finally acknowledge the truth.
All right, Mr. Shard man, been called across the universe. You know, where's your lady love that we got to go rescue here?
Yeah, your lady love.
I'm actually just here for the shard. If we come across her, it's inconsequential.
Yeah, but when we do, how should we get her attention? What should we call her?
Hey, you.
I didn't know she was gold.
That Rekmara is going to focus into his shard and try to ping the proper location.
Okay.
Narita's just thinking about letting out the Poseidon solution out of her suit and just wilting away.
You are able to pinpoint it to an island on Ion Area 8. As last as you bring the ship into orbit to make your approach, you can see kind of a little storm front gathering over the planet, but it's not quite ready to go yet.
Well, even though the first motto of the Star Scouts isn't be prepared, it is one of the many mottos, and I think it's like number 27, subclause A, but it might be from the previous era of the Scouts handbook. But I think I'm going to continue to wear my protective gear just in case.
So, do you want to take the ship down? Do you want to take your shuttle down? Shuttle?
Shuttle.
Yeah, shuttle.
Okay.
No reason to mess with the good merchandise.
Did we pick up weather gear just in case, like we had talked about on the station? Or so sort of bring that.
Rasmus had talked about it.
Yeah, I know Rekmara had mentioned it
Yeah.
also. It's like we're
I would assume that you have acquired all the appropriate gear.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, probably bring whatever we need to in the shuttle. And is there is everybody coming?
Yeah, Unum can handle it from here. We can go down in the shuttle.
Just gonna, just leave the ship in the very capable hands of Unum and Rhapsodos.
And Ted. Ted will take care of it.
Ted's not tagging along?
Nah, we're going to take the little Wizmos and we'll leave Ted.
Cool. Do we know where we're headed? Did we figure that out?
Yes. Rekmara has figured out where you're headed.
Yeah, I kind of figured he was homing in on it. Oh, that's beautiful. That's adorable. That's so wonderful. I'm sorry. No, it was just heart healing that moment.
A literal cat bite.
Stop it.
So
sweet.
You take the shuttle down, and Rekmara can guide you to the island where there is a large building with an enclosed courtyard and a tall tower with an ether radio. And there is a beach with a pier, and but there's also a shuttle pad on the roof for deliveries and such. So you have a couple of options as to how you approach the fortress.
Well, this doesn't feel like a trap or anything.
Can we do a preliminary scan in this cruiser to just infrared, just to see if there's people there?
Except, isn't part of the problem that they're undead?
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming undead would be room temperature, so.
So you can do a scan, and actually your scan does register several small life signs in the building, but not humanoid.
I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but there's living things in there. It's definitely a thing. Multiple things.
There's, they read like maybe Z-sized. There could be thwirls.
I mean, they could be more psychic rodents, but
Yeah.
You know what might work? I bet it would be more stable to land and take off from the roof pad, but it might not be a bad idea if we could do a stop and hover, and I'd be willing to drop off at the pier and come up from that direction if anybody else wants to come with me.
Yeah, okay.
we should separate the two pilots, I think, though.
So, Lasness, you would stay with it and land, and then I'll be in the first group to drop off at the pier along with Cole. Anybody else with me?
Narita will come with you two.
Oh, goody! Me and Rakmara can put the ship down.
Yay.
All right. So you head down to the pier and drop off 3 of your party members, and then you and Rekmara head to the shuttle pad on the roof.
Before we go too far, Narita's got little Wizmos following every party member, so a couple of them stay on the shuttle to go with those two.
Okay, sounds good.
Lasness is quite taken with the Wizmo that stands by her. She keeps giving it a thumbs up.
And Cole is absolutely doing that side-eye look, shaking his head at the Wizmo following
Pretty
him.
much. He just keeps sort of looking at, "You will give me no trouble. Do you understand? Do we understand each other?
Yeah.
You will stay out of my way. You will give me no trouble."
Looking at your shoelaces, like.
and Fritz looks at the Wizmo standing next to them and just goes, "Okay."
Today, Cole is wearing boots without shoelaces. He knows better than to do that on missions like this.
Yep.
All right. So, those of you who have been dropped off at the pier, a short pier extends out over the water, connected by a path to an open archway in the fortress wall. The pier is in good shape with strong pilings, which raise it well above the high tide line of the rocky beach. The area appears to be deserted with no other ships or people in sight. You can hear some marine birds calling. But other than that, the only sound is the crashing of waves. You can go ahead and make a perception check to see what else you notice about the area.
I see water.
You see water.
15.
Unless any 15, huh?
Yeah.
I also see water.
Okay.
We're not good at this.
What happens when you roll a 4?
You see water. Cole, you notice a distinct set of tracks that is going from the Hermitage to the waterline.
That's interesting. When you say the Hermitage, do you mean the tower, or is this a...
From the the building with the tower.
Okay. just stops at the water line? What it looks like, or is it like in the distance and we'd have to get closer to see where it stops?
You can kind of follow it.
I start heading that way.
Right down. It leads right down into the water.
Hey, somebody came out of, and it's one set of tracks. Just looks like just one person.
There's, it seems like just one that's real clear. There are some other tracks now that you're getting a closer look that seem to have gone back and forth. But
okay.
Yeah.
But these seem to probably, I'm guessing there's like sand, so I'm guessing this is the most recent.
Yeah.
Okay. Or what I would assume is the most recent. Sorry. Somebody came out of the building and just went down into the water.
Hmm.
And they're just sort of kind of looking. It had to have been relatively recently, because, I mean, this place is hit by storms a lot. And they're just sort of looking out over the water. Do I see anybody?
No.
Don't see anybody out there.
You just see like a gull kind of circling over the water, like it's fishing, but
Somebody just walked down into the water.
No humanoids swimming or anything.
Perhaps they're in the water.
Yeah, probably. He could be undead.
Yeah, could be under the water.
Either they're undead or they can breathe underwater.
We'll just have to keep an ear out for anything that might come up out of the water.
Or we can go and check.
I don't think we should go underwater.
Narita can go underwater, no problem.
Yeah, Narita can go without a problem.
Yes, Narita can.
I mean, you could all go underwater in your life suits, technically.
Yeah.
Penguin Rick
I
Rock
have a
could.
problem with.
Well, Rekmara's not here, so blah.
So, while you are deciding whether or not Narita should go check out what may or may not be in the water, we will cut to the roof and the shuttle pad where Lesness and Rekmara have landed.
After Lesness sets it down, she's going to lift her Wizmo and put it on her shoulder and say, "Here, buddy, don't tire yourself out."
So it finds a good perch, and you step out of the shuttle, and there are pretty heavy, strong shingles covering the roof. You do notice that there are some spots where the roof has been damaged by the weather and patched with vent tape in some places. It's a little bit hodgepodge, but whoever was here most recently has kind of done their best to repair it. The flat area in the center is the landing pad where you're standing. You can kind of look out over kind of the crenellations on the roof, which means it's a fairly defensible position. There is a door on the north side of the building that will lead you into the observatory. And from where you're standing, you can see the rest of your party down by the pier kind of investigating. So, what would the two of you like to do?
Suppose we should just disembark.
as much as I'd like to go start exploring right away, it's against the Star Scout code to go without your scouting buddies.
You could calm down and ask them what they found.
True. I'm so sorry. I had the whole thing prepared. What do you guys see down there?
Somebody went from this building out down into the water. We're not sure if they're gonna. I'm guessing they're probably still down there somewhere. I think we're kind of exposed on this beach, so if we go down, we should probably all go down. But otherwise, maybe we hit it later. That's my recommendation, anyway.
Yeah, I'm okay with checking it out later.
Okay. Hey, what's up with all these footprints? She says as she finally starts getting closer to them.
That's the person I said went down into the water.
Oh.
All right, so
No, that's under the water. Who went where? No, okay, I guess not.
I'm fine to if we want to. This is the thing is, I think if we want to go down, we should probably, and any of us who are out here should probably go down, because otherwise we're going to be you're going to be leaving somebody standing out here on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes out, we're going to be exposed in this position. That's all I'm saying. We're going to have to either we're going to be out here standing, or we got to go find somewhere, go somewhere else.
We can go in. Let's go in the building.
all right.
Right.
So the archway in the fortress's outer wall provides access to a large courtyard now filled with vegetable gardens and a small orchard of stunted fruit trees. Ramps to the east and west lead up to walkways atop the wall overlooking the yard. To the southwest, the base of the communications tower is obscured by thick growth of vines, which also shroud the west ramp and the door to the greenhouse that's attached to the front of the building. A set of double doors stand along the front of the observatory on the far side of the garden next to the attached greenhouse, but the greenhouse side door is overgrown. Along the eastern side of the courtyard, the wall of the fortress that once abutted one of the larger of the island's rocky hills has been hewn away to create a passage rounding the corner of the hermitage and expand the courtyard, where they've got some more planters and things like that. So as you head inside and Lasness and Rekmara head down from the upper story to meet you, that is where we're going to wrap our session. We'll pick up next time.
Cool. Excellent. This is very cool. I can't wait to see how this goes. This is very neat. This is very neat. Okay, I guess let me see if I remember how to do this. This is part of the reason why I need to put more programming on here, which will be happening soon. Is just so that I can actually remember how this whole thing goes. If I do it often enough. We go ahead and go around and have folks say, where you can find them, and any favorite moments you want to talk about. Any other final thoughts you have about the game. And we will go ahead and, as is proper, we shall start once again with our station master, Alyssa.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you all for playing, as always. I I was very happy to get back to this, and I enjoyed seeing everyone's attempts, however unsuccessful, to pry Rekmara's backstory out of him. It may yet happen. It may not. We'll see. But I am looking forward to seeing you all explore this observatory turned hermitage, since this is one of the dungeons that I have had to put the most work into.
Ooh.
So it should be fun. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Origami Shuriken. I haven't done a lot of streaming lately because I kind of fell off the wagon there, but I post all my crafty stuff on Twitter, and I do have a session 0 for our spin-off game, The Fate of Saltmaw, where we follow a band of space detectives and our friend Oceanus through a series of mysteries starting in a couple of days. So our session, we'll have our character building, and then next week I'm hoping to stream session 1. So
Nice.
That's awesome. Definitely have to check that out.
yeah,
This going to be on your channel?
that will be on my channel.
Awesome. Awesome. So we can just go to Origami Shuriken in a couple of days, and it should
Yep.
be there. Awesome.
Yep.
Go follow.
Yes. Our session 1 should be Tuesday the 12th. I think we're going to have our session 0 off stream so we can get all the housekeeping and character building and kind of get acquainted. But you should see some familiar faces. And I believe we're going to have Trooper for the whole mini-series.
Wow.
So I'm excited.
That is
Awesome.
exciting.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, definitely. Let us go ahead and head on over to Mem.
Hey, I'm Mem. So, favorite moment tonight. Any moment with Rekmara being mean was my favorite, which is all of the moments that he's in. There's just something about that bitterness. It just touches my heart, even though he ruined my things and hurt the rug of mothering, which is cold and uncaring, just like him. So I guess it fits. You can find me here, basically, because I have also fallen off the wagon, except I have no plans to get back on the wagon of streaming. Not yet. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Sometime in the future.
Maybe. There's a big question mark.
Distant future, that undiscovered country. Who knows?
Right.
One day, perhaps. One day. And now let us head over to May.
Hey everybody, my name is May. I do have a Twitter. I don't post too often on it, but it does exist. Just like how I exist here on Sundays. Maybe another stream will pop up for me sometime in the future. We'll see. Talking about it last year. Maybe they'll come to fruition. We'll see.
Did you have any other final thoughts or anything you wanted to throw out there?
Oh, sorry. No, I mean, I had a lot of fun the whole time. I liked how easily everyone fell back into just natural interactions with each other. It was like coming home again.
Very cool. All right, and now over to Cazimi.
Hi, I'm Cazimi. Like everybody else, I'm here on Sundays and not much else other. So that's the way it works out right now. Hopefully maybe do some more in 2021. We'll see where that goes. Some ideas were being kicked around earlier. We'll see if any of that ends up coming to fruition. And I, like so many people, just like needling Rekmara to try to get more of his story out of him. And I think it's going to be one of Fritz's incidental side missions to try to get Rekmara to accidentally tell us more about what's happening in his backstory. So we'll see how that plays out, especially if we end up finding either this person or the remains of this person or the undead version of this person from Rekmara's past. I'm going to be very interested to see how that plays out. But we'll just have to wait until next week and hang on. So looking forward to it.
Definitely. And finally over to Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. I think we're starting back up with my two other campaigns, Cyberpunk Red and Scion, next weekend, Friday night for Cyberpunk Red, Saturday afternoon for Scion. So tune in for those. You can find the links to those on my Twitter. Yeah, I don't know why everyone was deciding to instigate something with Jimenez, or with.
Maybe we need to get Jimenez involved. Actually,
I don't know why. I don't know why everyone is surprised when something bad happens to their stuff when they, try to poke the Rekmara. So, just actions have consequences. That's all. So, looking forward to see what happens next week.
Indeed. All right. Well, once again, we shall bow our heads in thanks to Jade Nebula for providing us with the art. Once again, I am Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. I will say, by the way, I think my favorite moment this evening was the awkward hug PvP that took place. Just was that was hysterical. It was such a moment.
I will say, it went better than some of my other campaigns that came to PvP much sooner and much more intensely. So it could have been worse.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Could have been better.
Just wait until the fixed version of the rug of mothering gets floated around back out there. I mean, everybody knows how their mothers appreciated and treated them, and who knows what Rekmara's mother thought of him.
Oh no. It's going to be a rug of selective mothering? Is that what's going to happen?
It's mothering. Whether it's your mother or Rekmara's mother.
I am concerned. But you can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where it's normally where I put game signups when I have them coming up. Also down below, you can see links to various things, various media. And let's see, what do we have happening? What do I have happening? Well, there is a podcast that I'm on that is finally releasing some new episodes after a little while. The Tabletop Garden. There was a campaign we played in Big Eyes, Small Mouth that was a sort of a post-apocalyptic campaign, a very short campaign we played. That finally the editing is I am told complete. So they are releasing new episodes of it again, so you can finally hear the end of that campaign if you so desire. Whereas playing a crusty wasteland mercenary as opposed to a crusty space mercenary. I don't have a type, not at all. But it's doctors and crusty mercenaries all the way down. So if you want to check that out, that's at I believe that's at tabletopgarden.com. And I will make sure of that because I wasn't even thinking. No, it's not tabletopgarden.com. I don't know where it is. But you can probably find that in your podcast app of choice. I was able to find it in mine, and the one I use is not great, so that gives me hope for all the others. No, don't knock over the dice tower. It's not time yet. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's at tabletop.garden, apparently. That's how they did it. This is where that podcast is located. If you wish to check that out, then let's see. The only other thing happening on this channel is this right now. The only thing happening on this channel right now is this, and then me occasionally going mad and playing Frostpunk. This once again, we'll be doing this on Sundays. Except on days when we're not. It just depends on the various vicissitudes of life as they come up at various points. But for the most part, we are doing this on Sundays in the afternoon. So please come check that out. There will be more stuff coming up soon. There is toward the end. We haven't nailed the date down yet of the exact starting time, but it will come to pass. It shall come to pass. He prophesied that Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern on this channel, probably either, maybe end of January, maybe beginning of February, somewhere around there, we shall have a short campaign of Urban Shadows starting. I've got the cast lined up, and we are now getting ready to start coordinating on how we're going to set things up. First session will be session 0. And then we're going to have a story arc. It'll be a little bit longer than our usual short campaigns. I have abandoned the month-to-month model for the sake of a slow ramp up and mental health and all those various things that one is meant to do as a human being, but one often tends not to. So I'm trying to pay attention to that. So we're going to be doing that soon. There are more things that hopefully will be happening, things possibly coming back very soon that we also haven't nailed dates down on yet, but I don't want to announce just yet, but we're almost there. I can almost announce more stuff. And that will be coming down the pipeline sometime relatively soon thereafter. So we will get into that soon as well. Let's see. I believe that is all the announcements. So when we hit the end card, I'm going to send a raid over to, let's see, LFM Network is doing Veiled Alliance, so I'm going to go over there and say hi to them. It's a Dark Sun campaign, for those of you who are into that. Feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. That, again, will be when we hit the end card. Thank you all very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. It is awesome being back in space. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.